know who, I was going to ask him, and then he left before I got a chance. All right, we all set? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call to order this November 26, 2024 meeting of the Ridgefield City Council. It is 7 p.m. If you're able, please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll move on to the open forum. Residents can share their comments in person, by voicemail or email, or may also request to participate virtually. For more information on submitting comments, you can refer to the city website, go to the council agenda and minutes page, and then you'll be able to have the instructions right there. It's richfieldmn.gov/citycouncil. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak for open forum? Anyone here that wishes to speak for open forum? All right, since there is no one rising to speak for open forum, we're going to move on to approval of the minutes of the City Council work session meeting and the City Council regular meeting from November 12th, 2024.
I'll move the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We've approved both sets of minutes. Our next order of business is the report or the annual presentation of the Human Rights Commission. So I'm going to call Chair Tyler Olson up to the podium, and then just make sure the green light is on the microphone. If not,
looks like we're good to go.
all right, awesome.
First, I would like to thank the council for hosting us this evening, given the opportunity to talk through our accomplishments this year, as well as highlight some of the great commissioners that were doing some great work this year. For those who are unfamiliar, the purpose of the Ridgefield Human Rights Commission is to secure for all citizens equal opportunity in employment, housing, public accommodations, public services and education, and full participation in the affairs of the community. We achieve this by taking action consistent with the Minnesota Human Rights Act and by advising the City Council and staff on programs and strategies to improve human relations in the city. This work is best done grounded in community, so I would also like to take this opportunity to make an appeal to anybody here in the room tonight. If there's any issues that you would like to see discussed, please feel free to bring those forward to the Commission. We are always looking for any suggestions and ideas, ways that we can engage with the community. We have our meetings the first Tuesday here in City Hall, first Tuesday of the month, every month. You can also reach out to us on the City Commission's page or reach out to the Equity and Inclusion Coordinator, Brittany Bartlett. All right, so recognition. 2024, our officers this year was myself was the chair. We had Tiffany Bigley as vice chair, and Valerie Hurst Baker was our secretary. Members this year were Calmy Dennis, Tim Garvey, Mara Glubka, Carol Kelly Anstedt, Dana Specht, Maddie Vuxen, and Michael Zazera. As you're all aware, the commission's turning over a decent amount each year, just based on the nature of terms. It just really varies wildly, the experience from year to year, and this was just want to highlight this was a really great group this year. We had a lot of fun working together, a lot of great ideas brought to the table, and some things that are setting us up for future successes. Activities to highlight from this year. The Legal Aid Clinic. So this year we continued our series of legal aid clinics aimed to serve underprivileged community members with free legal advice on subjects like immigration, family, residential law, and more. This is done with pro bono attorneys. Those are just looking to donate their time to help residents in need. The latest was just held this past Friday on the 22nd, with a particular focus this year on immigration law, given some of the rhetoric nationally that's kind of really target this demographic in the years ahead. This included a translating service. So we look forward to a full debrief from those in attendance at our December meeting, and again, extend an invite to any of those that are interested in hearing about how that clinic went, or just to see what we have going on or to provide some ideas. These clinics are becoming a staple in our lineup each year, an event that we all really look forward to. And we do see it as an opportunity to partner further with both city council and staff, as well as community members, just to continue to make more impactful, events into the future. 8 proclamations were drafted and approved this year: Black History Month, Asian Pacific American Month, Juneteenth, Pride, Americans with Disabilities Act Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, LGBTQ History Month, and Indigenous Peoples Month. These proclamations serve as a vehicle for our community to declare our values and promote greater understanding and connectedness on subjects important to us. The HRC recognizes that this is an opportunity to align more closely with the communities in question, and in the future we want to continue to work towards having more community representation in these proclamations. Gina and Mary Jacobson Outstanding Citizen Award. From a crowded group of applicants, the Richfield Human Rights Commission was pleased to select Scott Ramsey as this year's recipient. Mr. Ramsey's passion for his work during his many years as the bee guy at Wood Lake Nature Center brought joy and enlightenment to countless community members throughout his career. He was a fantastic recipient for this year's award. This year we formed an outreach and engagement subcommittee just to aid, again, going back to trying to engage more directly with the community. We wanted to form a group that is specifically focused on that very end goal of just drumming up ideas, avenues to pursue to reach out to people, as well as starting to develop reusable things for social media or what have you to just kind of really accelerate down the path of getting the community more involved with the commission. And Legal Aid Kiosk, which, Mary, I'm glad that you stopped over to talk about that. We're very happy with the progress over the past year with the kiosk. This is something that a couple years back the commission was involved in trying to bring to the city. Successfully did so, and then there was maybe some stagnation in its usage that finally started to turn this year. Word of mouth, that critical mass is reached where people now are aware that the service is available. So we look forward to continuing to learn further into the usage of that resource. Looking ahead to 2025, in addition to continuing these established initiatives, the Human Rights Commission is exploring additional opportunities to further the cause of human rights in Richfield. We've been discussing holding an immigration citizen event in conjunction with the U.S. District Court in Minneapolis. We are resuming a partnership with Just Deeds on eliminating racial covenants to kind of help see what we can do to bust up some of the red tape, preventing faster progress in that regard, and then other avenues that maybe we can do educational events and things of that nature to kind of keep it at the front of people's minds. And again, just closer community cooperation and engagement across all of our initiatives. Really want to focus and emphasize on just getting more direct buy-in and ownership from the communities that we're serving, rather than just bringing our own ideas to the table and trying to farm them out. We want to make sure that we're hearing from those impacted. Again, I just want to highlight this year's group was really a lot of fun to work with. I had, as chair, some personal stuff that kind of kept me out of commission for several months worth of meetings, and the group just didn't miss a beat. It's a very active group, very engaged, very intelligent, and wanted to contribute to their community, and they did a phenomenal job. I'd like to say that there's more of an impact of me being gone, but they did wonderfully in my absence. And finally, I'd just like to close by thanking the council for, just it's very apparent, and city staff, that you all are very caring about these rights and want to work closely with us to help secure them for all citizens. Some of our national discourse right now is going to have, in the years ahead, direct impacts on human rights. So there's never been a more crucial time for these conversations. So we look forward as the HRC to continue working more closely with you and secure these rights for all Richfield citizens.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any questions or comments? Councilmember Troutman is the liaison to the Human Rights Commission, and he's unable to be at the meeting this evening, but I'm sure from what I've heard from him in the past that you guys have been a great group to work with, so thank you for everything that you've done, and it's always fun to see the new initiatives that you put forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to the Sustainability Commission annual presentation, and we'll turn it over to Chair Keeper.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, my name is Amanda Keeper. I am the chair of the Sustainability Commission. I just want to start by thanking our city sustainability staff, Rachel Lindholm and Zach McCarty, our council liaison, Councilmember Ben Whalen, and all of our sustainability commissioners, Matt Dobratz, Craig Heinen, Adam Burnside, Amanda McKnight, Helen Burke, and former commissioners Logan Tyne and Santwana Dasgupta for all of their hard work this year. This was our 5th year as a commission, which I think is a good one for the Sustainability Commission. I think in wedding anniversary terms, 5 years is your wooden anniversary. We talk about trees a lot at the commission, so it's a good year. We had a productive year. We met 10 times, and our meetings are always very full. So at the Sustainability Commission, we do something a little unique. We have a commissioner-led annual work plan process where we kind of talk about our hopes and dreams at the beginning of the year, and then throughout the year, commissioners will lead different activities and action items that are on the work plan, and we discuss them. We discuss at least 1 or 2 at each meeting to give ideas, and then commissioners lead different activities related to those work plan initiatives. So I'll just highlight some of our accomplishments from our work plan. We had a couple main focus areas. Our biggest one was community outreach and engagement, and probably our biggest accomplishment there was we were able to finally complete our sustainability digital guide for residents. So that's been a multi-year effort that was initiated by commissioners. It was largely written by commissioners, and of course we relied heavily on city staff to edit and format it and bring it together, but we were so excited to finally be able to share that with residents online as kind of a resource and a landing page in a way for residents to come to if they had any kind of question about sustainability in Richfield, whether that's how to sort their waste, how to reduce their waste, how to make their home more efficient, how they can have a more sustainable yard or use more sustainable transportation methods in Richfield. All of that stuff is in the guide, and we're really excited for that to be available. So that's on our website, richfieldmn.gov/SUST guide. So please spread the word. We're excited to get that done. Some of our other accomplishments are that we started a quarterly sustainability newsletter, the Sustainability Scoop. I thought that was very clever of one of our commissioners to come up with. So we're pretty excited to be distributing that now. We also created a sustainability recognition program that's going to launch in Q1 of next year through our sustainability newsletter. And that's just a way of kind of recognizing residents that participate in certain programs, city or county sustainability programs and efforts to kind of celebrate them, but also call attention to some of those opportunities for residents. We did some organics program education and outreach at the Pumpkin Smash this year. So we did some tabling there to teach residents about our curbside organics collection program that's available to try to encourage people to sign up to get their curbside bin and teach them how to use it. A lot of people already were enrolled, so that's good. But we'll continue to try to get the word out to increase those numbers so we can have more and more people using that great program that Richfield has available. We did some youth commissioner outreach. We had our first youth commissioner this year, so thanks to Helen for that. It was really great to have her perspective on the commission. And some of our commissioners did an outreach event at RHS and at AHA, and they had several students come up to them afterwards who showed some interest in the commission. So we're hopeful, fingers crossed, maybe we'll have 2 youth commissioners next year. That would be really great. So that was kind of our community and community education and outreach focus area. Our other focus area for the work plan this year was on city policy. So one of our commissioners, Craig, worked with staff to lead revision of the city's fowl code. So we're talking about birds there, like chickens, geese, ducks. That code only allowed a very small number of birds. This revision is going to allow people to have a few more, but it also puts in place some kind of protections and guidelines for people to get a permit so that they can learn a little bit more too through that process of how to safely keep their birds. So we're hoping that that's kind of a win-win for the birds and for people who love them and want to have them in the city. So that is going to have some readings to you all in January. So that process is almost complete, and we're really excited and proud of Craig for seeing that through. We also discussed some opportunities to reduce plastic waste that escapes into Richfield's environment, talked about different potential policy and educational opportunities to work with businesses on reducing plastic waste. So that's something we'll talk more about in 2025 as well. Yeah, so that's kind of our work plan, and again, we'll carry forward some items into next year and keep working on some of those in-progress things. But that's something that we're always proud to share is our work plan successes. We also use our meetings to hear from staff, different reports and updates to keep us up to date on the city's sustainability work. So some of the reports we got from Rachel and Zach this year included updates on county and federal grants, different city events like our annual tree sale and rain barrel sale, solid waste and energy efficiency updates, and the commission also had the opportunity to provide some feedback on the city's work with a consultant to develop a sustainability communications plan and brand. So I guess like we got to provide some feedback on the logo and the banner and some of the kind of aesthetics around that. But you know, it's always a good opportunity for us to hear those staff reports, to just be able to ask questions and provide feedback on what the city's doing with sustainability efforts. So we always appreciate that work from staff. And the last thing that we do in our meetings is sometimes we have special guests and guest presentations, and we had a couple of those this year. So we did have a presentation from City Bella residents who came to share with us about their sustainability team, their green team, did some work with University of Minnesota students to learn about some potential sustainability options for improvements to their buildings. And they were just sharing with us some of the plans that they have to pursue some of those energy efficiency and other sustainability improvements. And it was a good connection to make, too, because one of their residents who was present at the meeting decided to apply to the Sustainability Commission and will be joining us next year as a commissioner. So it will be great to have her perspective. The city manager also came and presented on the sustainability aspects of the 3 local sales tax referendums that just passed. So we're excited about that and excited to keep working with the city next year as some of those begin to roll up. And some of our members attended a joint meeting this year with the Community Services, the Community Services Commission back in April to learn about the Stormwater Pond Priority Plan and to get an update on forestry and parks from city staff. So we take those opportunities when we can to do a joint meeting with one of the other commissions and get some of those staff updates about some key sustainability issues. So again, it was a productive year, and we're excited about our work. We're excited to continue it next year, and we appreciate the opportunity to share it with you all tonight. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments? Councilmember Whalen.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as the liaison to this commission, would just echo the thanks to the whole commission, to you, Chair Keeper, to staff, that this is also true of the Human Rights Commission, though I have less firsthand experience with it. But both of these are really topics that are just huge and could do any number of things, and it's pretty easy to sort of get in a loop where you do a lot of talking and not a lot of doing. And so I've really appreciated from the sustainability commissioners the work plan ideas, the willingness to, pick one that you're going to lead on and another one that you'll partner with someone else on, or whatever however it lined up, but that people have really taken a lot of initiative. And it shows with some of the good things that are coming out. I don't think the sustainability guide, the foul code, other things that I'm forgetting, I don't think some of these things would have happened without commissioners deciding that, that matters enough that we're going to see it through. So thank you, and I look forward to continuing to see what the commission comes up with in the future.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your work. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we have approved the agenda. Moving on, we'll go on to the consent calendar, and so I'm going to turn it over to Assistant City Manager Tongbong.
Thank you, Mayor Supple. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the City Council in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended action has also been approved. No further council action on these items are necessary. However, any council member may request an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for council discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. You have A, consider the adoption of a resolution accepting grants and donations received by the Richfield Recreational Services in 2024, the authorizing staff to administer the funds in accordance with any applicable grant agreement and terms prescribed by the donors. B, approve a resolution from counting registered write-in votes for local elective office. C, consider approval to set a public hearing to be held on December 10th, 2024 to consider the renewal of the pawnbroker license for 2025 for Metro Pawn and Gun Incorporated. D, consider the acceptance of a quote from Northland Recreation in the amount of $175,000 for the replacement of the play equipment at Donaldson Park and the authorization of the Recreational Service Director to proceed with the project. And E, consider approval of the first reading of the new ordinance establishing a local sales and use tax in Richfield. Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Just two comments. One, exciting to have our first reading of the sales tax item since that's been such a big item for so long, and excited to discuss it more at our next meeting. The other one is I was just glad to see this thing about the write-in votes. I was actually kind of surprised when we got the itemized sheet that we even did that, and this does make a lot more sense. So I'm glad we're saving a little bit of time, even though it is kind of a fun novelty to read through them. So thank you.
Other comments or questions? I would like to thank all the people that donated and all the grant funders that provided all this for the Recreation Department. I think also the Donaldson Park was partially done by a Hennepin County grant, so thank you to them. And thank you to the voters for authorizing that sales tax. So lots of gratitude. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We have approved the consent calendar. Next, we'll move on to item 6, and I'll turn it over to Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
Thank you. This item is to consider approval of the second reading of a new ordinance regarding registration of cannabis and hemp businesses and related regulations. In 2023, the Minnesota legislature legalized adult use cannabis. The state recently established the Office of Cannabis Management as responsible for overseeing this new industry through the implementation of a still developing regulatory framework that will include both cannabis and hemp-derived products. Because the city's moratorium on cannabis sales will expire on January 1st, 2025, the city has developed an ordinance related to registration and renewal for cannabis and hemp-related businesses. Licensing by the Office of Cannabis Management is expected to begin in 2025. And then I would maybe just read the bullet points of unless staff would prefer to do it, of the policies covered. I'll just go ahead and just read those so people are clear about what this is about. So we will process for pre-licensure certification, ensuring our zoning requirements, which we previously passed, are met. We are allowing 3 dispensaries, which is compliant with the state's requirement of 1 dispensary for 12,500 people. We have registration application process, denial and enforcement penalties. We have local compliance checks requiring at minimum 1 check a year in addition to the pre-license check. Proposed hours largely mirror what Richfield liquor stores do, and they would not apply to low potency hemp retailers. And there are some definitions related to liquor to stay consistent that are also updated. Does staff have anything else to add that they want?
No, we're here for questions.
I'll just go ahead and move the motion, and we can discuss that. I move that we approve the second reading of a new ordinance regarding registration of cannabis and hemp businesses and related regulations, and a resolution and summary publication of said ordinance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and we're now open for discussion. Councilmember Hafer-O'Leary.
I would say thank you to staff for getting this done in time, and I know that this was kind of dictated by the state and our own limits on the moratorium, so I appreciate everything being in order, and I feel really good about where we landed on these rules.
I also wanted to thank everybody that was involved in the discussion. I know the Advisory Board of Health weighed in, the Planning Commission weighed in, we had several work sessions, and we heard from residents that had concerns and questions about this. So I appreciate everybody that was involved in the process, and thank you to staff for answering all the myriad questions that we had, because I know we peppered you and the Planning Commission or the Community Development Director with a lot of questions about this. I think, though, with all of that input, we've come up with some good regulations and ordinances. Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we have approved the new ordinance and the summary publication. Next, we will move on to item number 7. I just want to do a point of personal privilege. We had a really fun Saturday where we interviewed people from 8 a.m. till about 5 p.m. and it was just very uplifting to hear all of the energy and people talking about what they wanted to do to make Ridgefield better. And so we just had a really great time at the commission interviews. So now I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Hayford-O'Leary to do the formal appointments.
All right, thank you, Mayor. And yes, it was the hardest thing was picking between great candidates, and it's a really good problem for Ridgefield to have. So yes, this is to consider the appointments to city advisory boards and commissions. Terms of several city advisory board and commission members are set to expire on January 31st, 2025. In addition, due to resignations, there are midterm vacancies that need to be filled. The terms for the advisory boards and commissions, the full terms are 3 years, and then I will read off the list of appointments after this. City Council directs the City Manager's Office to conduct an annual recruitment seeking applications to fill the vacancies. This recruitment includes a press release and information on the city's website and social media platforms. As the Mayor mentioned, applicants were interviewed at a special work session held on November 16th, 2024. And I will read the list of our appointments now, and thank you to 3 of our new members for coming to the meeting. Although we don't expect it, it is really nice when you come, so thank you so much for being here. To the Advisory Board of Health, we will be appointing Marcel Johnson, Rebecca Case, and Rachel Decker, and an alternate identified of Jim Mahoney should a vacancy arise. For the Arts Commission, Christina Clausen, Stephanie Jacobson, and Eric Beganek. Civil Services Commission will be reappointing Jeffrey Bruzek. Community Services Commission, David Sperling, Susie Lutenegger, Grace Bronken McCarthy, Tessa Johnson, and Husnia Dent Bradley, and an alternate of Kimberly Land. Human Rights Commission, Michael Zazera, Dana Specht, Timothy Garvey, and Chris Axelson, alternate of Tyler Birschbach. Planning Commission, we will be reappointing 2 current commissioners, Ben Surma and Eddie Holmvig Johnson, with an alternative identified of Kelly Witzel. Sustainability Commission, Craig Heinen, Katie Boone, Christopher Donner, and the alternate of Alexa Wozniak. Transportation Commission, Lou Zierzak, Stella Yang, and Brennan Kabusta, with an alternate of Jacob Olson. So again, thank you all for being willing to serve, and I will move the motion that we appoint the list I just read.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? Councilmember Whalen?
Just again, want to echo a thank you. We have a lot of very eager and very talented people, and sometimes you get one or the other, but it was great to see both. And yes, it's a very uplifting set of conversations to be part of when we interview everyone. And this year, this is my 5th or 6th year doing this, this year was one of the harder ones to decide who could fill the limited spots. So thank you to everyone who applied.
And as Commissioner Hayford O'Leary said, it's great to see 3 of the commissioners here, and we also have an alumnus commissioner that was on the Arts Commission earlier. So thank you all for being here. Any further comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we have appointed the commissioners. Congratulations. Next, we will move on to the city manager's report.
No additional updates.
All right, claims and payroll.
I would move claims and payroll.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve claims and payroll. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we have approved claims and payroll. We'll start off, hats off to Hometown Hits, by turning it over to Councilmember Christensen, who has a report for us from the League of Minnesota Cities, or the National League of Cities. So it's for the national convention. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to give a hats off to to my colleagues who approved and voted favorably for me to attend this conference down in Tampa, Florida a few weeks ago. It was very interesting to see not only cities of our size, but smaller cities and larger cities, and everybody coming together and talking about varying issues that were very similar to what we're dealing with here, whether it be the unhoused, immigration, human rights, just different things like that. And we had a very commonality of what was going on in the cities together. So we're looking forward to this next 4 years with the elections that had just happened recently, and to see what the things that were going to be happening with that, if it's going to be changing in cities. And as Richfield, we're considered a first-tier city. I always thought of it as a first-ring city, first-ring suburb. But they were talking about the first-tier city like we are in Richfield here, where we need to protect our infrastructure, our housing, our immigration, all sorts of different things to keep people staying in the city without moving further out into other suburbs. So I would highly recommend that, in the future that perhaps some of our new council people might be interested in going to this when they come in January, to be involved in that, because the National League of Cities also has many training programs. They have different programs, a lot of different areas that they work with to help come alongside with the cities.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you for that report. Councilmember Whalen.
Just to say happy Thanksgiving, everyone. That's all I got today.
All right. Councilmember Hayford O'Leary.
I'm just going to give hats off to the participants in the Safe Routes to School, afternoon-long, I don't even know what it's called, conference, virtual retreat. We got to talk about a lot of Safe Routes to School issues. We're finally starting to see some of that concrete stuff on the ground, very literally, because it's a concrete sidewalk. On 71st Street, that's one of the funded projects, but we're looking at other projects that are midway through, like on 70th Street, we'll be cleaning up some of the stuff by dual language, and yeah, it's just great to see. I was only in attendance for the infrastructure part of it, but everything from how they're teaching, bike safety in FIED, to encouragement programs like, rewarding or having celebrations for kids who walk to school, to the physical infrastructure to make it safer. So it's just great to see a bunch of people, both from the city and the school district, and a couple community volunteers at that event.
Thank you. I'd like to do a hats off to a group called Every Meal and all of the Richfield residents that have been part of this. So what happens is residents from a lot of different groups here in Richfield got together and packed bags with meals, and then those same residents will go to various schools and they'll leave the meals in the children's lockers on Friday. So if a kid is only getting fed when they're eating their school lunch, they have something to eat over the weekend. And so they go to several Richfield schools to pass out the lunches, and it's done quietly while the kids are in class. It gets left in their lockers, so nobody knows it's there. So it was really cool to see. There were 3 Richfield churches that got together and were packing things at the Mall of America. And it turns out when they started listing off that there are several schools that were affected by that. So hats off to all the volunteers and to every meal. The other thing I wanted to talk about is we've had several Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops come through here, and we see the younger kids, and they're working on their democracy badges and things like that. But I was able this past week to go to an Eagle Scout ceremony for 2 of our Ridgefield residents, and so it was really cool to see the kids at the end of that journey and all the service projects that they had done. So hats off to all the Boys and Girl Scouts that are out there. And with that, we have finished our business. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you.